Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Barry and today you join me in Gauteng for a change because I'm attending the launch of the brand new BMW 1 Series and 2 Series Gran Coupé. We're driving from Johannesburg all the way down through to close to Parys at Pont de Val next to the Val River, and it is going to be a very exciting time. We are driving two variants of both of the models, the M135 X-Drive for the 1 Series and the 118, and then the M235 and 218 for the 2 Series. Now today we are driving the 1 Series and I have gotten behind the wheel of the M135 so far, and it's right here behind me, so let me show you. It is a very beautiful blue. The camera is not doing this blue justice at all, but it is very nice. Hatchback variant of the 1 Series, and then the 2 Series can almost be seen as the sedan version of this. But I'll be talking more about these cars as I have driven both of them in both variants, so I can give you some valuable feedback regarding actually what they are like to drive and comparing the one with the other. And here we have the 118 in a nice chicane grey, I believe. No, it's not chicane grey, crayon, I believe the Americans call it. But when we're looking at the performance figures of the 118, which is front wheel drive predominantly, I gather, it has 115 kilowatts with 230 newton meters of torque, whereas the 135 has 233 kilowatts and 400 newton meters of torque, and it is a very lively car. I've driven it not a terrible amount, but we have driven it slightly, few kilometers, and then this one here as well. So that is what I have for you for now. It might be tomorrow that I catch up with you, it might be later today, but we are going to sample more of the cars in some more detail, and then hopefully I'll be able to give you a little bit more feedback about what they're like to drive and the overall offering of the vehicles. Right, so here we are with the M135. Note that they have taken the I away from the name, so it is just now the M135 X-Drive, so BMW's four-wheel drive system. And I thought it would be nice to take a look around the car now that we've arrived at our destination for this evening and we've got some time to look at the car. So in terms of styling, I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest BMW fan when it comes to styling, although aesthetics are of course a subjective matter, so you may think completely differently to me. So these are 19-inch wheels that are fitted to this car. I'm not sure if there are multiple options for the wheels, but there they are. And styling, of course, this is the hatchback version. We've got the 2 Series as well, which we may as well have a look at as well, with the lovely tractor passing in the background, which is obviously the sedan version of the platform. So essentially the same car. So when we look around the back, again, some new styling. Walking around the rear with the dynamic roof line as it detects the the key is next to it, it obviously unlocks. So yeah, sloping roof line, which they say gives it a more sporting design. And then we get to the back, the pipes, and we know with the M135 the pipes are what matters, and you can bet your bottom dollar that those will be replaced by many a BMW owner as soon as they get their hands on these. So it really looks weird without the I badge, but there we go. The new 1 Series, or the new M135, let's get that correct. So yes, that's pretty much the exterior of the car. Over here we have the Hofmeister kink, as they place it, or as they call it rather, here towards the back. On the 2 Series as well they have that. And the wing mirrors, I don't know, they seem a bit big, a bit chunky. I'm sure I'm nitpicking, but I don't know, from inside it does seem like a very big rear or side mirror, I should rather say. So I mean, I suppose subjective as well. Yeah, it's just really going crazy because of the key that is now inside my pocket. Speaking of the key, here's the key for the 135. For the 118, it is a little bit less premium of a key, and I want to say I actually really like the fact that they differentiate with the keys. If you're buying an M Sport model BMW, you want to know that, you know, I'm paying just over R1 million for this thing. I want the key to be a bit different to the car that I'm paying 700,000 Rand for in the case of the 118. So there we go, that's in terms of the exterior of the vehicle. When we look at the inside, we're going to speak about this. There we go. We're going to speak about the seats, because these M Sport seats are very comfortable. They hug you. It is just a very, very nice place to sit. Yeah, even though we haven't had the most dynamic roads, when you push it on a bit, the seats hug you very nicely. It's very, very nice inside. But I will speak more about that when I drive the car, maybe tomorrow when we go into the 2 Series. Inside we have this big screen and this steering wheel, which I shall deliver judgment on because it's a bit too too chunky for my liking. But the new screen over here, we have, of course, the all digital. No such thing as a button when it comes to climate control. Over here you've got the volume for the radio, which is very nice. It's not metal, it's plasticky, but there is that. So when you want to adjust your climate control, it is here. I am not a fan of digital controls with regarding climate control. I would much rather have physical buttons to work with, but at least you don't have to go into sub menus and things to find it, because quite frankly I think it is a bit dangerous when you do that, because then you have to constantly have your eyes off the road and onto this. And let us put this off because it is going to ruin the audio of my video. There we go, we're going to switch it off. Very easy to use, very responsive touchscreen, so that's very nice. Very clear graphics. We've got the M badge, of course, with this car. And yeah, overall the interior is nice. We've got a nice sunroof, which I'm noticing for the first time. But things like this, I'm paying R1,000,000 for a car. I don't want to feel this plastickiness. I think they could have made a bit better effort with that. It doesn't feel very nice. In a premium product such as this, R1,000,000 is a lot of money. Maybe it's just me, but I know other people feel the same about that as well. Got some nice M colors over here, so that's very nice. So that is the interior, the seats, and in the back. One thing I must say, when you look into the rear view mirror, the rear seat headrests are in the way. Yeah, not substantially, but enough to make you think there's less rear view in the mirror than you would like. And yeah, so that's just a little niggle, but overall it is very nice. I'll deliver more on the driving per se when we're actually driving inside the car. So yeah, overall, you know, if you like BMW, you're probably going to like this car. The styling for me reminds me of the old 2 Series Active Tourer. But as a car, it is very nice, very premium, besides those little plasticky bits that I pointed out. But let's switch on the car so you can hear it. Look, we are living in an age where noise is frowned upon by the EU lawmakers, so it doesn't sound amazing. However, it doesn't sound too bad. So there's our nice little greeting. The lights, nice little interior lighting show. So a bit of an uninspiring start-stop button. I feel like it could have been red or something, but alas, there we go. So there we are. Not bad at all. So we're just going to switch off the fans, and then over here when you go to my modes, you can select that, then you can select sport. So as you can hear, the revs immediately pushed up, or raised should I rather say, and then when you give it a rev, and then when you go into individual settings, we figured this out earlier today, when you go to drivetrain, you go Sport Plus, then you get a little bit of pops. I don't know if you can hear that. It's very unnatural, should I rather say. It doesn't sound particularly loud and pa 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 as you might expect, but nothing an aftermarket exhaust can't fix. So in terms of the engine sound, that is what the M135 has to offer. Now you join us for day 2 of our BMW 1 Series and 2 Series Gran Coupé adventure, and as I mentioned yesterday, we spent time in both the 118 and the M135 X-Drive, and today it's our time in the 2 Series. Now we have just spent some time, we being my co-pilot Mr. Sean Nurse, in the 218, and as with the 118, it is a very comfortable cruiser. As a daily driver, you already have no complaints with that car. And moving up into the M135 and the M235, you can really feel that M badge making a difference. It is a little bit firmer, but not uncomfortably so. It's a little bit more responsive. I lie, it's a lot more responsive, particularly in the sport mode, which you can put into Sport Plus if you want to get some more oomph, should we rather say. Now the pops and bangs are not particularly pronounced, but I don't think this is necessarily that model yet of BMW, although there's no confirmation of a hotter version of this car coming. It is very enjoyable to live with. Now let's talk about some of the likes and dislikes of the 1 Series and the 2 Series Gran Coupé. Now the likes, I want to say the seats are very, very comfortable. They hug you very nicely in both variants, particularly in the M variants though, because they hug you very nicely. They are not firm, but you know they are there for a little bit more than just comfort. Another like, the interior is premium. You can feel that you are in a pricey car, which is just as well, because you are spending near enough R1 million for the 118 and the 218, and definitely over R1 million for the M135 and the M235. But there are a little bit of plastickiness here and there, which, considering the price of the vehicle, I would have liked to see a little bit more premium, such as the holders here where you put your water bottle. Some of the switches here feel a little bit not premium, but overall the car definitely feels at the price point that it's at. The steering wheel, I know some people don't like a chunky steering wheel, other people like it. I am on the latter camp. I don't really like a very big steering wheel per se. However, this one does have lots of direct feeling. But overall, the steering does feel very, very nice, particularly in sport mode. Yesterday in the M135, we had a little bit more twisty roads to play with, and you can really feel the dynamic nature of the car, should I rather say, shining through. Now, as my co-pilot also pointed out, the transition from gearbox, from a torque converter to a DCT, I mean, you'd be perfectly happy with this gearbox. I like a DCT. The torque converter, it's not as snappy for me as a DCT, so I'm very glad that BMW did transition back into this particular gearbox for this car. I think it suits the car very nicely indeed. Now, as I mentioned yesterday, some of the technology of the car, although it works very well, the climate control, for example, is not hidden in a sub-menu. It is here, it is prominent, but you do have to kind of look for it to make sure you press the little plus sign or the little minus sign on the screen, and it's not something exclusive to BMW. A lot of manufacturers go down this touchscreen route where everything has to be in the infotainment system, but I would have liked a button, a nice physical button to switch on the air conditioning, switch it off. Equally with the driving modes, although you have a button down here which says my modes, and then you have to go into the screen to configure your driving modes, I would have liked a sport, efficient, eco button over here. But overall, the infotainment works very well. The actual driving instrument cluster is in good view. The steering wheel doesn't block any part of the screen, which is very nice. And yeah, the screen as well, of course, differing driving modes will give you differing configurations. In sport mode, you will have the rev meter here on the right side, or the revometer. I'm not sure what that technical term is, but in efficient mode you would have the amount of power using for the car. So lots of configurability, as you would expect in a car of this nature. Now, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, the pricing for this M235 that I'm driving now is just over R1 million. Is it worth that R1 million? Well, it's a little bit more expensive than the 218, but you do get substantially more power than the 218. So in that regard, you would definitely see some value for money in that case. Personally, as my co-driver also thinks, the M135 I think is the one to go for in this platform, unless you've got a family that you also want to entertain. Boot space is also bigger obviously in the 2 Series Gran Coupé than in the 1 Series hatchback. So personally, I would go for the M135i, and yes, I think overall it offers good value for money. Speaking of that, you have options when you purchase a new BMW these days. You can either do the traditional way where you pay your deposit and then you pay your monthly installments as per you usually do, or you could use BMW Select. Now what this offers you is effectively a guaranteed buyback from BMW, where you have a guaranteed future value that they will essentially be able to buy the car back for, should you, after the period where you've taken the term that you've chosen. You can either do that, or you can choose to buy the car outright after that period has expired, or you could not refinance, should I say, but go into a newer BMW product once that period has expired. Can we put it that way? I think it's the way to go, because you pay overall a lot less. You know that if you've looked after your car, you know you're going to get a set value for your car, and effectively you don't have to worry about a bigger payment with the BMW Select option, and it just makes sense, and you're not bound to a car for, let's say, 6-7 years depending on your monthly installments that you pay. So I think it's a very good program that BMW has initiated for many years, but they really want to emphasize that it is an option if you choose to buy a new BMW and you are not in the position to buy it cash. I figured out how the boost pedal works. You should just hold it down and you've got 10 seconds of boost. So that is it for me on this particular launch. Thank you very much to BMW South Africa for inviting us to experience the vehicles that they gave us to sample over the last 2 days. If you like the video, make sure you like, share and subscribe, and let me know what you think. Would you rather have the 1 Series or the 2 Series Gran Coupé? Do you think it offers good value for money? And would it be something on your bucket list? Make sure to comment down below. But until next time, bye bye.